to the New York Knickerbrothers podcast, coming at you live and on camera for the very first time, and for that we deeply apologize. I'm one of your hosts, Patrick Gallagher, and alongside me a man whose face launched not 1,000 ships, but instead 1,000 FCC complaints, your brother and mine, Bair Shrivastov. Bair, the season is a-comin', buddy. You ready for this?
The season is here almost. There's magic in the air. There's a hint of snow in the air, but instead of snow, I mean basketball. We're doing it. We
are doing it. First of all, before we get started, since we are on video, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the sponsor of this episode, Stiller's Soda. This is Ben Stiller's new soda line. It comes in 3 flavors. This is root beer. It also comes in lemon lime and Shirley Temple. It's only 30 calories per can, and it is wonderful. And Ben Stiller, as any Knicks fan knows, is, the patron saint of all Knicks fans. He's the king.
Why he sponsored the podcast.
He's the guy we're looking up to. It's why he definitely sponsored the podcast. And this is, as it says on the can, the world's refreshingest soda. So everyone go. It's available on Amazon and probably in other places. Certainly if you're in New York, it's available.
Is it good? Did you get that? Where did you get it?
Amazon.
Oh, Amazon. Okay.
It's very good.
You made a very grossed out face when you drank it right there.
Well, it's the reason I don't do the food commercials.
Yeah.
Hang on, I can do this. You ready for this? Here we go.
Yeah. All right, go for it.
Stiller's, the world's refreshingest soda.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay.
There you go.
So viewers and listeners, ignore the first thing that Patrick said. The first sip you take might not be that good, but then the second time you'll smile and you'll like it. It's
a delicious soda, and Ben Stiller is our king, and we will not disparage him nor any product he releases into the world. From Severance to Along Came Polly, Night at the Museum, everything in between. What's that other one that he did? He was in the movie
Dodgeball.
Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Secret Wife of Walter Mitty.
Walter
Life.
Mitty.
Yeah, good movie. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. The season somehow is like, we're 2 weeks away from Knicks basketball. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. Now it's preseason still. It is right there. We can taste the season upon us. And this is, without a doubt, the highest expectations any Knicks team has had since, I would say, probably since you were alive. I think you could argue maybe in like 97, they had something like equivalent expectations, in that world. But like, this is it. This is the year. It's finals or bust. Maybe for some championship or bust. We can talk about that in the next couple of weeks. But Knicks Media Day was only a couple days ago. It was like every media day, a non-event, except there are 3 stories that have kind of emerged out of Knicks Media Day. So we're going to talk about them real quick. The biggest one, the most important of them all, is one. I mean, all these stories existed prior to, except for one, prior to Media Day. But the biggest story is the question of who will be the 5th starter, which I really like to think of more as who will be the 5th closer, like who's going to play at the end of games, who's going to get the most minutes. Yeah. Because who cares who plays the first 6 minutes, the first quarter. But right now there are 3, really 2, but let's give 3 contenders for that 5th starter spot. We know that Towns is a starter. We know that Bridges is a starter. We know that OG is a starter. And we know that Brunson is a starter. Who that 5th starter will be, that's the question. For most of last year, that 5th starter was Josh Hart. I love Josh Hart. He's a great Knick. I love having him on the team. But it is certainly true that because of his reluctance to shoot, the offense bogged down at times. Defenses were able to throw their 5s on Josh Hart and put their longer wings on Karl Anthony Towns, and that really slowed Towns down as a perimeter threat in particular. By the time the playoffs rolled around, middle of the Boston series, the Knicks had switched to starting Mitchell Robinson, who's the second contender for that 5th starter spot. Mitchell Robinson, we love. He's the longest tenured Knick. He's been on the team 8 years now, which is crazy. He is an elite level defensive player. He's a great finisher at the rim. He cannot shoot. He will not space the floor at all. And the third contender for that starting spot hasn't really gotten any buzz as a starter, but Knicks fans like the idea of having him with the starting five, and that's Deuce McBride. Deuce McBride's an excellent shooter. He's a pretty good on-ball defender. I think he's somewhat overrated, honestly, as an on-ball defender. He never really got burned with Brunson last year, I think because Coach Thibodeau did not like pairing two small guards together against a lot of lineups. But he's the best shooter of the three by a mile. He spreads the floor. He's a good, solid defender, good team defender. And he is the third contender for that starting spot. So, Bair, if you had it your way, who should that fifth starter be alongside the big four?
I would start Mitchell Robinson.
Great, good talk. On to the next story.
No, listen. I think that Josh Hart would be my second choice, but we just got enough run with these five guys last year to know that something has to change in our main five. You brought up the issues with Josh Hart sort of limiting us on offense and making Cat a less dangerous player. I also think Josh Hart just has a lot to offer in the second unit as someone potentially who can run around and cause havoc against teams kind of lesser players. He should obviously see some time with the starters. Like, he should be our sixth man. But I think that Mitchell Robinson brings a ton on defense. Although he doesn't have shooting, he has this weird sort of gravity in a different way, which is teams kind of always have to look out for what he's doing around the basket because otherwise he'll get offensive rebounds all the time. So there is this sort of, although he doesn't stretch the floor, he does have a weird way of contorting what the other team's defense has to do, and that does benefit us offensively. And I think he makes up for what our biggest weakness is with our starting unit, which is Cat can't really protect the rim. So I think he kind of just from the fit standpoint makes the most sense. What about you, Pat?
I think I agree. I'm not 100% certain, and the thing that makes me nervous about it is so one of the things that you don't want to do, right, when things are going wrong and you want to try to solve the problem, one of the things that you don't want to do is to change everything at the same time, right? Because then you don't actually know what the problem was and what move you made to solve it.
Yeah,
right?
Too many variables.
Yeah. So we have already changed the coach,
mm-hmm.
right? We've changed the coaching staff. We've changed the philosophy around the team. It's to then say we also need to change the starter, the fifth starter, and to not play Josh Hart with the starters because it has been established that it doesn't work with the starters. I would object to that and say, no, it has been established that Josh Hart under the Thibodeau system as the fifth starter didn't work, right? But we have already changed one of those variables. So now the question is the team maximized if we just embrace that one variable that we've changed and keep everything else the same and then figure out, because we have this whole season to figure out how to become a real championship contender. The East is, as we'll talk about in a couple of weeks when we do our over-unders, the East is weak this year. It's missing some key players, although there has been some scuttlebutt that there's a chance Tatum might come back in the spring. So we're going to be in contention for a top seed, most likely a top 2 seed over the course of the season, fighting with Cleveland to get the number 1 seed. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of, we're allowed to experiment a little bit. And there was a lot of contention around Thibodeau last year because he wasn't really experimenting. He just sort of saw a nail in the wall and he kept throwing the same hammer at it, even though the hammerhead broke off and he was just hitting it with a little stump. So my instinct is that starting Mitchell Robinson will allow for much more interesting rotations and variable lineups that will work exceedingly well. Cat being the defensive 5 may not work against the best lineups that teams can throw out, but he's so dynamic offensively that you could throw him at the 5 in backup minutes, right? And then he can play defense in the backup minutes. If you don't start Josh Hart, then suddenly you can rotate Hart and Bridges and Anunoby and always have plus wing defenders out there, along with whoever is going to be in the backcourt, Clarkson and Shamet and McBride and all those guys, right?
Yeah, you'll just like what I think you're saying is you'll always be able to have 2 out of the 3 of Hart, Anunoby, and Bridges on the court.
Yeah,
like for 48 minutes of the game, which is really, really good.
Well, if it were Thibodeau, you'd just have all 3 of them for all 48 minutes of the game anyway.
Oh, yeah, true.
So the second reason that I think Mitch is the right call here, although I don't want to give short shrift to Deuce McBride because I do think he brings an element, especially to the offense. Like if you really want a fast pace 5-out offense, he's the guy, you know? But the other reason that I think Mitch is the right choice is Josh Hart has a wonky finger. You seen this, Bair? You seen Josh Hart's wonky finger?
He's got a big old gross little finger there.
It is gross. It has it is a big, like the middle joint on his right hand, shooting hand ring finger is swollen and like akimbo.
Yeah, like obviously viewers of the podcast, because this is our first video episode, will be able to understand. But people who are listening, just picture my co-host Patrick's face, and that's kind of what the finger looks like.
So sometimes Bair likes to say things, and one of the first rules of good podcasting, good improv, all of that is to just say yes and roll with it to keep the conversation flow going. But sometimes he says things, and what I like to do is just be silent, so that he can sit in the shame of what he said and the whole audience can sit in the awkwardness of it. Right, so that's what that little moment was. Why don't you say your joke again?
Yeah, sure. So viewers of the podcast, look over to the other co-host of this podcast, Patrick, and then you won't even need to look up Josh Hart's finger because you will know what it looks like. Oh, I did the wrong one. I didn't do the right drum sound.
Professional, but we're keeping all of this in. This is all staying in. There you go.
All right.
Yeah, I got a wonky face. So Josh Hart, he's going to have to wear a splint all year. Okay. And that means that he may even be more reluctant to shoot in his new form than he was. And that, again, is an argument that maybe you take the plus defense and offensive rebounding that Mitch brings and you play him with the starters. I don't know. I think you could kind of go anyway. With any of these 3, and the Knicks will be fine. I would honestly like to see what it looks like. I have a sense that we will, in large part because we had really good health luck last year. Mm-hmm. And I don't think we can expect that again this year. Fortunately, if we were going to have really good health luck one year, you'd take it for the year where you had absolutely zero bench. But this year, there is a real bench contingent forming for the Knicks, which leads us into our third story of Media Day, and that is who's going to fill out the back end of the roster. The top 10 is basically set in stone. Or top 9, let's say, is basically set in stone. You have the starters plus Mitch, Deuce, and Josh Hart plus Yabusele, and Jordan Clarkson. Okay. Those are the top 9. They are locked in. That's the rotation, barring injury. The question is, how do they fill out the back end of that roster? And is there a 10th guy who makes the rotation? Right now, the contenders for the back end of that roster are Landry Shamet, the newly signed on a non-guaranteed deal, Malcolm Brogdon, mm-hmm. The rookies from last year, Tyler Kolek, Pacome Dadier, and Ariel Hukporti. And the second round pick this year, Mohamed Diawara. Here's the deal. Because of the salary cap, the Knicks cannot have both Shamet and Brogdon on the roster without trading one of Kolek or Dadier. If you trade Kolek, you have you squeeze in by $40,000 under the second apron. If you trade Dadier, you have a little bit more room. Obviously, you could also cut Brogdon or Shamet and keep Kolek or Dadier. Or maybe somebody gets injured and the issue is settled for you. Bair, how do you want to fill out that roster? What do you want to do? Do you want to keep Dadier? Do you want to keep Kolek? Do you want to try the veteran backcourt with Shamet and Brogdon? What's your ideal?
My instinct is to keep the two younger guys first off, just because I feel like that's sort of the wise thing if we're talking about potentially extending this run. If we're thinking 3-4 years down the line, developing one of these guys into a useful, or potentially even both, into a useful rotation player can help like extend this potential run beyond just 3-4 years. So I always like to keep those kind of guys unless there's a real good reason to get rid of them. So that kind of leaves me between Landry Shamet and Malcolm Brogdon. And I don't really have a strong preference over those two. I mean, Malcolm Brogdon was once a very good player. He's pretty old and he's kind of fallen off. Shamet gave us a really nice run in the playoffs, so my heart is a little bit with him. But I think that's like a good thing to just kind of like game it out and see if one of them really steps up in training camp and throughout the preseason before we make that call. But I don't know. What do you think?
So you would rather keep Kolek and Dadier?
I'd rather keep those two guys, which means we have to get rid of one of Brogdon or Shamet.
If you were going to trade one of Kolek or Dadier, which one would you want to trade?
I mean, I think Dadier probably looks like he has more to offer. I don't know if you agree with that.
I do. I think they should trade Kolek. This is my belief.
Think so?
I think if you can get a future 2 for Kolek, send him out, keep Shamet and Brogdon. I remain skeptical. Kolek is a really elite passer. It's his best skill. He's great. I am skeptical of his ability to hold up as a ball handler to elite level defensive pressure. That's the thing I'm really skeptical of when I watch him play. I think he fundamentally lacks the athleticism to deal with it. He is not as quick or as strong, and his handle is not as good as Jalen Brunson's, right? That's how Brunson deals with it, even though he is often outclassed athletically by his defenders. There's other things that Brunson does that make him an elite level athlete, right? He's really quick and really strong and really low to the ground. I just don't know that Kolek can do that. And I also don't know that there's any value to this Knicks team of developing him specifically. Given that,
just because we have Brunson and Clarkson.
Because we have Brunson and Clarkson, we're going to, I think we're going to trade Deuce McBride next offseason and sort of extend out the runway with some value there, because I just don't think we can pay him.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because I love Deuce, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And we're not going to trade him this year unless something crazy comes up. If we can, I say we like I'm a member of the Knicks because emotionally I am. If we are a contender this year, I do not see any way Tyler Kolek is giving us meaningful minutes over the season. I do see a scenario in which Malcolm Brogdon gave us meaningful minutes over the season in the same way that DeLon Wright gave us meaningful minutes over the course of last season, right? Because he was a steady, reliable hand. And what Malcolm Brogdon can do that DeLon Wright can't do is shoot. Malcolm Brogdon is and always has been an elite level shooter. He doesn't need to play a lot. Yes, he's very injury prone, but he doesn't need to play a lot over the course of the season. He just needs to play in key spots. And I am much more apt to trust him and to trust Shamet. And I would really like to keep Dadier, because word coming out of, training camp and practices and all that is that he is actually one of, if not the best shooters on the team. Wow. That he is just an elite level 3-point shooter who just hasn't gotten the burn yet because he's so young and raw. And Thibodeau, didn't play those guys. And I just think that in this NBA, he at $4 million or whatever it is more valuable than Kolek at 2.5 or whatever they make. So that's my instinct. My instinct is You trade Kolek, you keep Brogdon and Shamet, you fill out the back end of the roster with Diawara or maybe Diawara's on a two-way, whatever. With the Dadier and the young guys. Maybe Dadier gets some burn over the course of the season, but then you have 10 like above, or let's call them replacement or above replacement quality players. Maybe Brogdon and maybe Shamet is slightly below replacement quality. Maybe Brogdon is too in his most recent incarnation. But, we've seen versions of Shamet that are very clearly NBA quality player. Same with Brogdon, right? And if he's your 10th or 11th guy, that's something. That's really something. What's interesting,
it would be a real problem if we were counting on them as like our 7th and 8th men.
If it was last year.
Having them as 10 and 11 is really nice. Yeah.
But I mean, I think the depth of this team is going to be a strength over the course of a season.
Yeah, which is surprising because that's not what we thought that was going to be some issues heading.
I think the Yabusele signing was the shocker for me. Yeah. I just did not think, because he was really good in stretches for Philadelphia last year, and I did not think, one, he would take a backup role, and two, you'd be able to get him at the price that you got him at.
Yeah, going into the offseason, I thought, okay, we're going to be able to sign one decent bench player, and we're still going to feel we'll be better than last year, but a little shaky. And the fact that we were able to get both Clarkson and Yabusele was just huge, because that takes us from, okay, maybe we have enough if everyone's healthy, to now we actually have depth at every position.
And it gives us a runway, too, for the young guys that we have, right? Mm-hmm. We have our first-round pick this year, right? So, it's well observed. We're not going to be able to afford this team in exactly the state that it is for the next 3 years. It's just not going to happen. We're going to lose bench guys, right? But it gives us a year of runway to say we are competing for a championship and we are deep. And Dadier, Huckporty, Kolek if he's here, whoever else, McCullers, any of those guys. Right. Here's how you can become Diawara. Here's how you can become. This is what a championship level team looks like. This is how you fill a role on a championship level bench, because this job will be yours in a year if you play your cards right and you fill that out. And it's really exciting. We have enough, and we have, like you mentioned, we have the first round pick coming up on next year's draft. And a couple of these young guys feel like they might be, maybe not this year quite ready, but a year away. Like we might have people who could step up and really extend this thing out for 3, 4, 5 years. So that's all down the road. But go ahead, Pat. We'll finish your thought. My thought is, this is the biggest season for the Knicks of my adult life. And I can't wait. I'm a Green Bay Packer fan. The Packers are really exciting. They're probably Super Bowl contenders last week in Cleveland, notwithstanding. But I barely think about the Packers now until, they play tonight. So I understand they're going to play the Cowboys tonight, and I'm excited about that. But the Knicks are at the center of my thoughts, and the possibility of really competing for a championship, which is a thing that we hoped for last year, but weren't sure about. We didn't know how Towns was going to look, right? This is about the time of year that the Towns-Randall trade happened. We didn't know how it was going to look. We didn't know how it was going to work. Some people had doubts about the coach. We knew the bench was really thin. We weren't sure how that was going to play out. More or less all of those questions have been answered. We know what Towns looks like as a Knick. He looks like an all-NBA player. There's some weaknesses on defense, sure. Nothing that stops you from being a real elite level contender. Heck, we were in game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals last year, right? We were right there. And but for
5 wins from a championship.
But for frickin' Aaron Nesmith, we would have been, who knows, maybe we were playing the Thunder, It's entirely possible. Anyway, it's a really exciting time to be a Knicks fan, and it's also exciting because the Knicks had yet another edition of their Get to Know the Players preseason bulletin board. Now, I will say, this year's version, relative to other years, is extremely disappointing. Last year, of course, we learned about their glorious bagel orders, one of the great insights into
one of the great running bits on this podcast. podcast.
One of the
talking
great running
about
bits on this
bagels.
podcast,
Yeah.
talking about bagels. That's true. That's true. Bear, what's your go-to bagel order?
Just give me a nice everything bagel with some good old like fruity cream cheese.
Like strawberry cream cheese?
Yeah, like some kind of strawberry cream cheese or something. It's really good.
I'm a scallion cream cheese guy. I agree. Everything bagel, scallion cream cheese. I also, I mean, who doesn't love a good lox from time to time?
Sure.
But anyway, they did nothing quite as interesting this year.
Nothing as interesting as what we just talked about for the last 30 seconds.
Nope, not even close. This year, we learned two things about each of the players. We learned their favorite color. None of that is interesting, so I'm not going to bother you with it. And we learned their favorite music genre. So, Bear, I have a couple of trivia questions for you.
Okay.
Number one, which Knick chose as their favorite music genre country music?
Okay. So I'm gonna feel real stupid if I don't say Tyler Kolek, right? So I'm gonna go with my boy Tyler Kolek.
Sadly, Bear, your quiet racism did not pay off today.
Hey.
The correct answer is Mitchell Robinson. Famously,
Robinson.
If you follow him on Instagram, everything he posts is country music.
Where is he from?
I think he's from Kentucky, right? He went to Western Kentucky.
Okay.
Actually, he is from, as it says on his little chalkboard, in fact, he's from New Orleans originally.
Okay.
But so I believe
he's from the South.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Which Knick chose as their favorite music genre? Gospel music.
Oh. Gospel music?
Mm-hmm. Again, if you follow them on Instagram, you will know the answer. I don't
follow any of these people on Instagram.
That's your mistake. What kind of Knicks fan are you? You're not drinking Stiller's soda either. It's a fake Knicks fan over here.
Oh, no. Gospel music. It's like, what dude in their 20s listens to gospel music? What the hell?
Lots. The answer to that question, as someone who lives in the South, is lots.
Really? Okay, well, I guess I also live in the South, but I guess it hasn't come up.
You've only been here like 3 months.
That's true. I'm going to say somehow the answer is OG Anunoby.
Incorrect. Josh Hart is the answer. Josh Hart chose gospel music. He is he's a believer. He loves Jesus Christ.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. He does love Jesus Christ.
Next, two Knicks said for their favorite music genre, a version of the answer, everything. Which two Knicks said their favorite music genre is all music?
So it's like they're either huge music fans or they're just like really boring. I'm gonna say that Deuce McBride was one. Can I get a yes or no?
Incorrect.
Okay, that's fine. And I'm gonna get one of these. And my second one is gonna be OG Anunoby.
That is correct. The most boring answer from the most boring Knick. The other Knick who chose all as their favorite music genre? Gershon Yabusele.
Okay.
Which is a name I'm going to have to get used to saying because every time I say it, it feels incorrect. Yabusele. The Dancing Bear.
Oh,
The Dancing Bear. What is Tyler Kolek's favorite music genre?
I'm gonna say his favorite music genre, just to break the stereotype, is like 90s gangster rap.
Incorrect. It's R&B. You know why? Because he doesn't have to spell it. No, it is R&B, in fact.
R&B. Okay.
Yeah. R&B cool. For Tyler Kolek. Who is the only Knick who chose classical music as their favorite music genre?
Classical music. I'm gonna say is it Brunson?
Incorrect.
Is it Deuce?
Incorrect, although I appreciate the guess. The correct answer, Jordan Clarkson.
I would not have guessed that in a million years. That would have
making a run at Deuce McBride for the most pretentious answer that we've gotten out of one of these.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, Jordan Clarkson would have probably been my last guess, just based on the little bit I know about him. And Deuce would have really fit with his whole persona, as we know.
Okay, two more music questions.
Okay.
How many Knicks chose some version of Afro music as their favorite music genre?
Do you mean like they explicitly said like the
I'm going to
word
say
Afro?
it explicitly says Afro or African in the
Okay.
answer under favorite music genre.
I'm gonna say f- f- three people said that.
3 is correct. Do you know who?
Cat.
Incorrect. Cat,
Okay.
though, did say reggaeton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's from
The
or
Dominican. Yeah.
he's not from the Dominican Republic, but he's like that's his
Yeah.
culture.
He claims that origin. Yeah.
Yeah. So oh, is it like Daddy?
Dottie is correct. That's 1. He also
Huckport.
listed rap and R&B.
Okay, Huckporty.
Huck Porty is correct. That's 2. Just wrote Afro music. And then the third one is an outlier from those 2.
It's not Kolek.
It's not Kolek.
Is it Brogdon?
It is Malcolm Brogdon.
Okay.
Also the
Okay.
only Nick who chose as his favorite color black.
It's the best color.
Oh, no, I'm wrong. Dottie also chose black.
Oh.
And so did Diawara. I take it all back.
Why would they ask people this question?
I don't know.
It's such an uninteresting question.
It's a real waste.
I don't think I even really have a favorite color.
Well, I did when I was 8, you know?
Yeah, like if you asked me now, I would say black because that's probably the color that I wear the most often. But like that's about it.
Okay. Final question.
Okay.
What is Landry Shamit's favorite music genre? I will give you a clue. We have not mentioned it.
Okay.
I will give you a second clue. I'm not sure it's a music genre.
Like you're not sure as in you've never heard of it, or you're not sure as in like you don't really know if this is like music?
I'm not sure as in I have no idea what he means when he puts this answer down. There are technically things, I don't want to go any further than this. Like technically there is a style of music known as this, but I cannot believe that it's Landry Shamit's favorite music genre. It's impossible for me to believe.
There's a style of music known as this. So it is a music genre.
Kind of. I would not think of it as a music genre.
Oh, okay. So that either means that it's like something. Is it like? Did he say something like soundtracks?
No, he didn't say soundtracks. I'm trying to think if you're like on the right path with that answer. Maybe
like something that's like if you typed it in on Spotify, music would come up, but it's not really. Like
no, if you typed it in on
anything.
Spotify, if you typed this word in, which is the only thing that he typed in on Spotify, it would be deeply, deeply confusing. Like the return, you would not understand what the returns would be.
God, like ringtones.
The answer for Landry Shamit's favorite music genre is the word art.
Art?
The word art. What could he mean that his favorite music genre is art?
What the fuck? Do you think he just okay, let's talk this through. First of all, this reminds me of when they're the episode of Always Sunny where they're trying to make a dating app profile for Charlie Day, and they ask him what his interests are, and he just says ghouls. Like that's kind of the same energy.
It feels kind of like the same energy as Deuce McBride saying his favorite hobby was philosophy.
No, because at least if you say that, I'm like, okay, that means you're probably like reading philosophy or thinking about philosophy in some way. Art is not a genre of music at all.
So art songs.
If anything, music is like a subset of art. Right?
So there is a thing called art songs, right? They're like sort of contemporary classical, discordant. Not necessarily discordant, but like, you know, they could sort of sound like they come out of operas, but they just sort of exist on their own. Like Philip Glass writes art songs,
sure,
you know, stuff like that, right?
And there's stuff like art rock and like art pop and stuff like that.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's not what he means. It almost makes me think he doesn't know what the word genre is. And so he kind of panicked when he got that question. But I don't want to impugn his character like that. because he's like, what's your favorite music genre? And he was like, you know,
Art.
yeah.
I don't know. It's a mystifying answer. It's truly the only it's the only thing anybody has put on this chalkboard this year that I've really had to think about for a while. Like, what does this mean? Why is this person the way that they are?
It's almost like someone should have asked him, like, what do you like? What? Why? I think you misheard my question. Sorry, let me repeat that.
Yeah.
What is your favorite music genre?
Yeah. It's also worth noting Landry Shamet, his favorite color, as he listed on his board, was olive green, which is very specific. He's the only one who put that. And he also, it was revealed, worked as a professional photographer during the U.S. Open this year. Did you see that?
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
So he has interests outside of basketball, which is great. Good for Landry.
Creative. So he's like a creative guy, it seems like. But that doesn't. I would say both you and I are somewhat creative guys in our own right, and neither of us would answer that question with such an insane answer.
No.
So let's not let him off the hook here.
Landry, check yourself. What is this? What do you mean?
Yeah.
I know you're a listener, now a watcher of the Knickerbrothers podcast. We need you to come on the podcast, and we need you to explain what it means that your favorite music genre is art.
Yeah.
Because maybe what he means is Art Garfunkel. Maybe he just thinks he's good friends with Art Garfunkel, and he's like, this is my favorite music guy.
It's
Art.
like if someone asked you what your favorite like music genre was, and you were like, well, I don't really know how to describe it, but like, like Madonna, or like I like that, like whatever that is. Yeah. He just said that with art.
Yeah. And he but instead of saying Madonna, it's like if your favorite musician was Lady Gaga, but instead of saying that my favorite musician is Lady Gaga, you'd said, oh, it's Stephanie. Because nobody knows who that is, right? No, if you said Garfunkel, then maybe that would work out.
You like Stephanie? Yeah, I love Stephanie.
I love Stephanie.
From Joker 2.
Folie à deux.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. You know what? Keep Landry Shamet on the team. Knicks. We got to figure out what's going on with his music taste.
I mean, honestly, he's probably more likely to be a guest if he ends up unemployed. But either way, Landry, just come on.
Get in here, man.
Get in here. Have a good time with us. It's been great to see you. Bair, any other thoughts on Knicks Media Day or any emerging story that's come out of Knickerdom in the last couple of weeks?
No. Look, I don't have too many thoughts. Like, the only thing that I'd like to just emphasize is, although there isn't a ton of actual news, the buzz is starting. The season is coming into full gear. I'm so glad the offseason is over. This has been the shortest offseason ever. And I am really, really grateful for that. And I think the listeners should know we're going to be coming back with some really good Knicks content, previewing the season, getting more into it over the coming weeks.
It's time, baby. It's time. Well, we end every episode with a recommendation of something we've enjoyed or partook in that has been meaningful to us. Bair, do you have anything to recommend our audience?
Well, it's been a minute since I've seen these movies, but we did talk about them briefly when I was over at your place. I saw the movie Weapons, which was very, very, very good. One of my favorite movies of the year. And this is not a movie I've seen yet, but I think tomorrow I'm going to go see the new Paul Thomas Anderson movie.
Oh, God, I want to see it.
Another battle.
One battle after another. One battle after another.
Yeah. Battle of the Network Stars.
Battle of the Network Stars.
But I'm really looking forward to seeing it, and so I'm going to shoot over there after work and watch it. But yeah, I don't know. Nothing crazy to recommend here other than see the movie that Weapons, which is a movie I have seen, and I can probably, like, as a premonition, tell you that I will like this this other movie that I'm going to go see tomorrow. So go see it too. What do you have to recommend?
I got to be honest with you. Like, I'm completely drawing a blank here.
Oh,
I feel like,
yeah.
So how much could I recommend it if I can't remember it? That's my God's honest reaction right now, is that I feel like I saw something that maybe I would have recommended, but also I cannot remember what it is. And as you get older,
yeah,
it all just fades away into nothing unless it's really meaningful. So I guess what I'm going to recommend is the Yankees are going to be in the playoffs this year.
True.
It's been a really enjoyable month and a half to close the season. It feels like everybody's rounding into form. And so I'm going to recommend watching this Yankee playoff run, see how it goes. They're down Garrett Cole. They lost Juan Soto in the offseason, and they bounced back. And right now last I saw it was 2-2 in the 6th inning against Baltimore. If they win this game, they'll have the exact same record they did last year, which is a great bounce back. Max Fried's been great. Rodon's been great. Cam Schlittler is my hero. I like this team. I like watching them play. Aaron Judge is the American League MVP. Pache, Cal Raleigh, and his 60 home runs. It's been a great time. And, win or lose, I appreciate the effort the Yankees have put in over the last month and a half. Bair, do you think the MVP of the AL should be Cal Raleigh or Aaron Judge?
Yeah, you should just give it. I mean, Aaron Judge had a fantastic season. I think he's got 53 or 54 home runs, something like that.
53,
right?
Yep.
Yeah, which is like a down season for him. But
I don't know if I'd go that far, but sure.
It's like the 4th highest he's ever done or something like that. But I think, give it to the guy who hit his 60 home runs. Come on. What are we doing?
Oh, you're giving it to Raleigh, huh?
Yeah. What are we doing here? You hit 60 home runs, you get the stupid trophy. It's fine.
Agree to disagree.
All right.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back next week, probably. And we're going to start.
We'll be ramping these up more.
We'll be ramping these up. We're going to start with over-unders. Probably start with the Western Conference and then do the Eastern Conference in a subsequent week. And then before you know it, it's going to be season time, baby. It's going to be time. Yeah. And there's only one thing to say as the NBA season approaches. You know what that is, Bair. Let's go Knicks.
Let's go Knicks.
Let's go Knicks.
I didn't know where you were actually going with that one.
We're getting back into this one, buddy.